All right, in this lesson we're going to learn about equivalent fractions, and the learning goal is pretty straightforward. It's find equivalent fractions. Okay, so if you need to, with these videos, you can pause, write it down, write the date that it is, and look at it. Okay, but for the moment I'm going to get straight to the next slide. Okay, so write 4 equivalent fractions of each. Now, to write 4 equivalent fractions, I need to explain what an equivalent fraction is. Now, equivalent fraction is that it's got the same value. So, for example, if I use this 4 over 5, if I had a block of chocolate and I split it up into 5 bits. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got to do it to 5 equivalent bits. So, all right, so they look roughly the same. I think this one needs to be extended a bit more. So let's make that one a bit bigger. All right, so we've got 5 equal bits. 4 out of 5 is just this, okay? But what if I did this? What if I cut everything in half? Well, what's the yellow bit now? How many bits is it? Well, let's count it. No, that's not one of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 8 out of how many pieces is there? Well, there's 2 more, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 8 out of 10. See how we're talking about exactly the same space? We haven't changed anything. All we did is we cut it down a bit further. All right, all we did was we split it up. So what that means is that 4 over 5 is equivalent to 8 out of 10. All right, and there's a way we can easily do this. What number times 4 equals 8? Well, it's times 2. Well, to find the equivalent fraction, I must do the same to the top and the bottom. So if I times 2 at the top, I must times 2 at the bottom. So what's 5 times 2? Well, it's 10. So that's how equivalent fractions work. If we times the top number by the same number as the bottom number, we're going to find an equivalent fraction. So the question asks, find 4 equivalent fractions. So I'm going to find 3 more. For this one, I'm going to go 4 times 3. All right, 4 times 3 is 12. If I don't know how to do this, I can pop it in my calculator. But what I do to the top, I must do to the bottom. So 5 times 3. That's 15, isn't it? So that means that 12 over 15 is equivalent to 4 over 5. All right. Now, I've got 2. I'm going to keep going. So instead of timesing by 3, I'm going to times it by 4. Okay, 4 times 4, that's 16. That means the bottom is going 5 times 4. That's 20. I need one more. How about we just go all out? Instead of timesing it by 5, I'm going to times them by 10. Times 10 times 10. Remember, what we do to the top, we must do to the bottom to find equivalent. So 4 times 10 is 40, and 5 times 10 is 50. Okay. So here are our 4 equivalent fractions for each. Now I want you to do something. I want you to get your calculator out, press this button, all right, probably looks a bit better, and put any one of these in the calculator and then press equals, okay? If you do that, you should get that because they're equivalent fractions. So give that a try, okay? I'm going to take some of this purple out and fix that box there, and I'm going to do equivalent fractions for 2 over 3. But if you get this, how about you pause your video and see if you get the same as me. All right, next one, I'm just going to times it by 2. That means I need to times the bottom by 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 2 is 6. All right, let's try some fancy number. If I times it by 5, so remember what I do to the top, I must do to the bottom. 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times 5 is 15. Okay, I need 2 more. All right, let's do 2 times 6. That means if I do that to the top, I must times it by 6 at the bottom. 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 6 is 18. All right, and to finish off, let's do 2 times 10, because that's easy. 2 times 10 is 20. 3 times 10 is 30. So that's 4 more. Okay. How about you try this one and let me know how you go. Okay. So equivalent fractions means that we're just splitting up the chocolate or the pizza, but essentially if we times the numerator, which is the top number, and we do the same to the bottom number, which is the denominator, we will get equivalent fractions. Let's go to the next one. Are these equivalent? Okay, I'm going to do the first 2, and then I want you to see if you can do the next ones. I'm going to change my coloured pencil because I'm running out of red ink. Okay. 2 times what equals 18? I think it's 2 times 9. And it is. Do it in your calculator. So go 2 times 9 is 18. So what we do to the top, we must do to the bottom. So I'm going to go 3 times 9. What's 3 times 9? Oh, that's 27. Is this the same as 27? No, it isn't. So therefore, these are not equivalent. These are not equivalent. All right. Let's do the next one. 1 times what equals 3? Well, that's easy. It's just 1 times 3. Okay. Now what we do to the top, we must do to the bottom. So I'm going to go 4 times 3. What's 4 times 3? Oh, that is 12. All right, so it works for both the top and the bottom. So these are equivalent. So they're equivalent, okay? So remember, if we can times the top and the bottom by the same number and get the same result in the other fraction, we'll see if they're equivalent. So I'm going to run through the next ones a bit quickly. 4 times what equals 20 times 5? So that means I have to times 5 to the bottom. 5 times 5 is 25. 4 times 5 is 20. So equivalent. Woohoo! So we're winning here. Now the next one. 3 times what equals 20? 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 7 is 21. I don't know how to get that. Let's try the bottom. 5 times what equals 30? 5 times 6. All right, so that's 30. But if I do 3 times 6 at the top, that's 18. So that does not work. So these are not equivalent. All right. For the final slide, it says we're going to put in simplest form. Now, I'm going to tell you the easiest way to put in simplest form, and then I'm going to tell you the mathematical way of how it works. The easiest way is, once again, we grab our calculator, we use this button, and I'm going to put this in there, okay? And then I'm going to press equals, and it will give it to me in simplest form. If you do that with the first one, you'll get the answer of a half. So you need to put it in here first, press equals, and it'll simplify for you. You'll always have a calculator with you, so please do that. But let me explain how it works. What's a number that goes both into 3 and 6? 3. So I'm going to divide 3 by 3, which equals 1. And then I'm going to go 6 divided by 3, which equals 2. Oh, that's simplest. What about this one? What number goes into both of them? I can't think of any. Actually, I'm going to put it in my calculator, press equals, and I get 1 over 3. So this is already in simplest form. Okay. What about the next one? Is there a number that goes both into the top and the bottom? There's actually a couple of numbers. But what is the highest common factor of all? So that's the highest number that multiplies to go into both 18 and 24. I'm going to give you time to think. Oh, I know what it is. It's 6. 6 goes into 18 3 times, and 6 goes into 24 4 times, because 4 times 6 is 24 and 6 times 3 is 18. So that is our simplest form. But if we did this method, the calculator method, we'll be getting it right as well. Now, say you don't have your calculator at home, please Google this site, Desmos Scientific. You must Google everything, calculator. That will simplify it for you as well. All right, the last one. What number goes both into 2 and 24? Pretty simple. It's just 2. So we can halve both the top number and the bottom number. So half of 2 is 1, half of 24 is 12. That's it. Hopefully it makes sense. Peace out.